I've kind of given the answer, but let's see if anybody can still answer it, or answer it quickly, I suppose. How do you know by the end of the day you've done a proper fast? How would you know by the end of the day you have actually fasted properly? How would you know? That's the question while Anjam asks his question.
So I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question is, if you're traveling
Yep.
and you're going abroad,
Yep.
so you're going between time zones,
Yep.
should you still fast because you don't know when to start or when to break?
You can still fast. Yeah, traveling between time zones is normal. I mean, they never had times in the past. They just travel, right? And what you do is you simply go by the time of the location you are in. So if you're traveling, I know it's airplane flights and stuff now, but say you're traveling from England to Turkey or something. People do that all the time, UK to Turkey. So you start your fast in England, and when you arrive in Turkey, you open your fast. Now, it's going to make it shorter or longer? Shorter, isn't it? Because you're going longer. Shorter, isn't it? Shorter. Yeah, shorter. It's longer when you come back, okay? Because the day you go back in time. I know you go back in time, but you go against the time zone. But yes, it's going to get shorter when you go to Turkey, so you can fast if you decide to. I mean, the journey might be tough. You might not want to fast, okay? But yeah, you can fast. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. If you come back from Turkey to England, then yeah, it will be longer fast, yeah. Because when you travel backwards, the time zone changes, and where you are on the earth, world changes, so the sunset gets delayed, and therefore you're going to add time to your fast. But you can still fast. You can still fast, not a problem. Yep. So if you're all traveling, you can fast. Okay, my question, how do you know by the end of the day you fasted and it's valid and you've completed it? How do you know? Sorry? That you've not swallowed anything? That is not a wrong answer, but not complete answer. Yes? When you're tired. I like the answer. I think that's a good answer. MashaAllah, well done. What's your name? Zaya, MashaAllah, excellent answer. When you're tired, you know you fasted. I think that, I accept that. That's the answer, MashaAllah. I think we all feel that. But that isn't actually what tells you you fasted like properly, 100%. That tells you felt the fast, yeah, you really struggled. But how do you know you fasted? Shams?
Two answers. First, how you feel inside your heart.
Okay, similar, yeah, good, yeah.
Secondly, evaluating yourself.
Assessing yourself. Assessing yourself.
Throughout the day.
Okay, yeah.
Like whether you have done all the best.
Okay, good. So you almost got the right answer there on the second part, which is my purpose of my question, is you need to be able to say and know, you need to be able to know, I would say, you need to be able to have the certainty that you didn't do anything to break the fast. So from Fajr, fast starts, all the way till sunset, did I do anything that broke my fast? If you say yes, then have you fasted? No. If you say no, I haven't done anything that broke my fast, then yes, you have completed the fast. Now this is the important question here. How do you know you haven't done anything that broke your fast? How would you know you haven't broken it? How would you know that this or that didn't break your fast? How? Follow the rulings. Like if you don't know the rulings, you might do something. How do you know that thing, let's say, smelling something, how do you know that breaks the fast or not? We need to know the rulings, right? Let's say you have an injection, question that comes up today. Does that break the fast or not? Well, if you don't know the rulings, you wouldn't know by the end of the day. So what does that tell us we need to do to fast properly? Learn the rulings. Know the rulings. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you're left in a bit of doubt. I actually don't know. I mean, if you did nothing in the day, you fasted. Because you didn't break, you couldn't have broke your fast if you did nothing. But if you have done things, you've been out working, doing things, interacting, and we do lots of things in our everyday lives. What if one of those things you did broke your fast? You've broken the fast then. But what if you don't know you broke your fast? You will carry on for the rest of your life not knowing you broke that fast. And maybe that you do that thing every day, and every day you're breaking your fast. So we need to learn what breaks the fast, so we avoid it. We avoid that which breaks the fast, and we know by the end of the day we have fasted properly. Yes, Anjum?
It reminds me about forgetfulness about when you're fasting, but you've forgotten that you're fasting.
Yep.
And you're doing that such a
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, we'll come on to forgetfulness and fasting. later. Yeah, leave that for now. Let's talk about what breaks the fast, and that's not part of it because that's talked about later. Okay, what doesn't break the fast is coming later. What breaks the fast is now that handout. So it says smoke entering the throat unintentionally. Sorry, no, these are what do not break the fast. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. No, we're doing what does not break the fast. Sorry. These things do not. I've underlined it as well. Subhanallah. I wasn't paying attention. So let's you got them all in front of you. I might as well get them all in front of me. Smoke entering the throat. So smoke entering the throat unintentionally. If dust, in the air, there's dust particles all the time. If there's a lot of dust particles and you end up like you walk through a sand is in the air, or it says flour there, right? I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen to us. But if there are a lot of dust particles and you walk through that and that doesn't break the fast. Khurram, have you ever had a fly into the throat? No. Anybody? Fly gone to the back of their throat? Anything? Khurram, we got one here, mashallah. It happens. Trust me, it can happen. You might just read about it, hear about it. It actually does happen. Fly, sometimes the fly does get in. Anybody actually swallowed it when he went in? No, nobody's gone that far. It just goes in a nice, it's not a nice experience. But that doesn't break the fast, even if you were to swallow, by the way. It doesn't break the fast. If one awakens in a state of janaba or starts the fast whilst requiring a ghusl, and this is a misconception, okay? People think that I'm in janaba, I need to make a ghusl. This is when you're in a major state of impurity and you need a bath. That's what a ghusl is, a bath. Then I can't fast today. It's not allowed for me to fast. I missed the fast. No. Purity, ghusl, has got nothing to do with fasting. Okay, your fast is not connected. Salah is. So for salah, you need to make wudu, ghusl, etc. before you can pray. Without salah, without wudu, you can't, and ghusl, you can't pray salah, pray namaz. Okay. With fasting, it's not connected to ritual purity, which is wudu and ghusl. Whether you have a wudu or ghusl or not, you have to fast if you're required to, and you can fast if you want to. Even a nafil fast, any fast can be started and commenced with you being in a state of impurity, requiring a ghusl. Okay, so you get people saying, "Oh, I'm in janaba this morning," or "I can't fast today," or "I didn't fast because I started the day off in janaba." This is a misconception. It's a misunderstanding of the rules of fasting. Yes, you need to do ghusl to pray Fajr Salah if you wake up in that state. Yes, you need to do ghusl to purify yourself, but the fast is not connected to your purity, to your ghusl, to your state of ritual impurity. Is that clear? Is that something anybody wants to ask a question about? Yes?
So if a woman is on her period,
Yep.
and she's at the end of her cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and as you know, women don't have to pray when they're on their period. So an example might be that she is due to pray the next day,
Mm-hmm.
but she wants to give it maybe the night,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe possibly the morning. Let's say before Dhuhr.
Yep.
Can she then fast later on? So she has nothing to eat.
No, I get your question. So even if you don't eat, if you were not certain of the discharge stopping prior to that everything stopped. You don't have to do the ghusl necessarily, but you need to make sure it stopped. And then yes, you can fast the next day. So it has to occur before Fajr, before the fast starts. If it enters into 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and then you ascertain that it's stopped and you do the ghusl, it's too late to fast that day. Yeah, it's too late to fast that day. Okay. We'll talk about that later as well. You may have to stop yourself from eating and drinking that day as well, which is tough. The next few points, which don't break the fast still, so we're still on the same concept. It's a nice slide for you, that's all. You've got a nice plain piece of paper. That's all it is. It's just what's coming up. Yeah, it's just the same thing on your sheet. Swimming. So if you swim, that breaks the fast already, but you can't go swimming whilst you're fasting. You were told that when you were small. Yeah, don't go swimming whilst you're fasting. It breaks your fast. It could break your fast, because what happens when you go swimming? swallow water, yeah, that breaks the fast. But swimming itself, diving in water and cooling yourself down and practicing this breaststroke and whatever backstroke is perfectly fine as long as you don't swallow water. So yes, you're going to put yourself at risk if you go swimming, and if you do swallow water, it breaks your fast. I'll be clear about that. But the act of swimming doesn't break the fast. Going into water doesn't break the fast. Swallowing water does. Okay, so be careful when you go swimming, but swimming itself will not break your fast. Is that clear? Okay, next one says, vomiting or bleeding, and again there's a misconception here. People think, oh, I puked up, I vomited, I broke my fast. It doesn't break your fast. Okay, so vomiting does not break the fast. Now somebody might say, well, I can't carry on fasting. I vomited, I feel so ill and so bad. Okay, don't carry on fasting, but that's because you feel ill. That's because you can't physically carry on. If you've been, you vomited a little bit and you can carry on fasting, you don't need anything, you don't drink water basically, just gargle your mouth out, and can you carry on fasting that day? Yeah, I'll be fine. Then you have to carry on fasting. So you do have to assess your situation once you vomit, but the vomiting itself will not break your fast. Is that clear? Quran, is that clear? Vomiting doesn't break the fast. Now, okay, I vomited, I don't feel good, I feel headache. Okay, assess yourself. Do you think you can go to Maghrib without eating and drinking anything, medicine, etc.? Yeah, I can make it. It's an hour left, it's 2 hours left. Oh, it's 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm just totally not able to carry on today. Yeah, okay then, eat and drink and don't worry about that day. You've broken the fast because not because you vomited, but because you're too ill to carry on. Then next day, or not the next day, after Ramadan, you have to make up that day. Okay, so if you do break it and you do miss the fast after vomiting up, not because of vomiting up, due to illness, due to fatigue, due to tiredness, lack of energy, then you can and you should probably not fast the rest of the day. Yes, break it, but you will always have to make up fasts that are broken. Yep, is that clear? And Jim, are you following that one? You got a question on that? I think I can see it in your eyes. Are you okay? Okay, you're okay. Bleeding then. So bleeding is similar in that if you get a cut and you even bleed a little bit or a lot, it doesn't break the fast. Okay. Again, if you bleed a lot, you might want to stop it and get fluids and stuff. So yeah, assess your health. If you bleed a lot, you get a massive injury or something. Allah protect everyone. But bleeding itself, a cut, nosebleed or whatever, does not break the fast. If you bleed in your mouth and you swallow the blood, that will break the fast. Okay, so be careful, if you've got weak gums, people often have weak gums, they ask the question, oh, should I brush my teeth, should I do this? No, people with weak gums and, bleed easily should try and avoid things that will aggravate or start the bleeding of the gums. Really try your best, If it does bleed, then you just have to rinse your mouth out continuously and, lean forward slightly just so it doesn't go back in the throat. So you can fast with that condition or with, bleeding gums, etc. But as long as you don't swallow the blood. And what's swallowing, this is an important point, you can taste the blood on the tongue, that's okay. That's not called swallowing, that's called tasting. But if you feel the blood in your throat, the taste has reached that far down, like you can feel blood here, and you can. Like if you drink something cold, it feels nice and cold down here, right? If you have ice cream or you have a drink, you can feel it on your throat. If you feel it there, anything really, whether it's a drink or blood or whatever, then you've broken your fast. Okay, yes? Mm-hmm. It doesn't, no. The amount of vomiting that often is talked about is for breaking wudu. So a large amount of vomit breaks the wudu, doesn't, etc. As for breaking the fast, no. Like I said, if you vomit a lot, you're probably not going to carry on fasting, yeah. But that's because you're ill or you can't cope with the lack of nutrition. Your sahri's come out, so what have you got left to work on for the rest of the day, right? So you're probably not going to be able to fast, especially if you feel really bad. But it doesn't matter if it's a little or a lot. It matters how you feel after. The vomiting itself will not break the fast. Okay. Bleeding. Again, these are things which do not break the fast. And then, your point arrives now. So yeah, I left it to the end, but no, it comes here. So if you eat and drink forgetfully, what does forgetfully mean? Yes. You forgot. You can't use the same word in the definition as in. There's a rule in defining things. When you define knowledge, you can't say it's knowledge. When you define forgetfulness, you can't say it's to forget. You've got to use different words to define. It's a rule of definition, right? Unintentional is not forgetfully. Unintentional could be something else, so it's not. By mistake is not forgetfully, no. These are different things. Because if you do it by mistake, it breaks your fast. Right? So forgetfulness is different to those, yes. When you don't remember at the time of doing it, when you're not aware and you don't have awareness at the time of doing it, that you were fasting. That's called forgetfulness, right? At the time of doing something, when you're not aware that you're fasting, that's forgetfulness. You just don't know, right? You finish and somebody says, are you not fasting? Oh, I'm fasting today, I forgot. I forgot. Not accidentally put the food in my mouth. I'm fasting, but accidentally the spoon fell into my mouth. It was an accident, Dad, accident, Mom, right? No, accidents break the fast. So yeah, if you accidentally swallow something, food, whatever, drink, water, it breaks the fast. Accidents are not, forgiven. Forgetfulness is forgiven. When you just forget, your mind's oblivious, as they say, your mind's lost, and you eat. Who's done that? Let's have a show of hands. Who's in Ramadan had a 3-course meal and a steak, and then mashallah, at the end of it, I was fasting today. Anybody done that? Okay, who's had a morsel of food? Who's had a glass of water? Yeah, I think we all have. Yeah, the first fast I ever did when I was a young lad in Sheffield. It was holidays, I think it was summer holidays. It was around that time. Maybe winter holidays. I don't know what holidays it was. Probably in it would have been like this time actually. No, I'm not that old. I don't know. Maybe like February or Christmas holidays. I can't remember. It was holidays because we were playing at home on the Commodore 64 and stuff, right, with the friends. That's what it was in those days. And they came round, and I went to the shop, got a packet of crisps, got chocolate, the normal stuff. I came home. They were all sitting next to me. They didn't tell me anything. We were young. We were like 12, 13 as well. So we, maybe around that age, 11, 12, 13. And I just had had it and stuff. And then they goes, oh, it's Ramadan today, isn't it? I was, yeah, I'm fasting today. And they're like, you're not fasting. We're fasting. I goes, I'm fasting. It was like the first fast I ever done. Like, it's like I'm so excited. He goes, but you had a packet of crisps, you had a chocolate. I was like, oh yeah. So I ran downstairs, and as you rinse your mouth out. I've finished and there's no taste left in my mouth. But I thought, and then my dad said to me afterwards, yeah, it's okay. You're still fasting. If you genuinely forgot. I was like, yeah, crisps, chocolate, and a drink. I genuinely forgot. I genuinely had no clue I was fasting. Because when it's the first time you fast, you don't think you're fasting, you don't remember, I suppose, right, young people. So yeah, anybody had it? That's why I asked anybody had a 3-course meal, because it could happen you have a full meal and then you remember, right? It could happen.
When you're in that situation, when you've forgotten that you're fasting and you're taking a sip of water or something to eat,
Yep.
is that regarded as some kind of a blessing from Allah as well?
It is, yeah, it is, yeah. So the question is, if you've forgotten, but it's given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes. So the question is that if you do drink a sip of water or some food whilst fasting forgetfully, then is that from Allah? Yes, it's from Allah. One of the companions, he came to the Prophet ﷺ. So this is based on hadith, obviously, the Prophet ﷺ guiding the companions. And he said to the Prophet ﷺ, I'm fasting, but I've eaten something today. I forgot I was fasting. I've had something to eat. What do I do? And the Prophet ﷺ said, complete your fast. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave you food and drink. Meaning it's from Allah, don't worry. It's His right, and He doesn't ask you to break your fast because you forgot. So it's like a mercy and blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's nice because sometimes you forget and do that, and it helps you, doesn't it? I've had a glass of water today, alhamdulillah, I forgot. It's going to help you to fast that day, alhamdulillah. I don't think you can forget every day, so don't pretend I forget every day and have a glass of water at 12 o'clock. No, that's playing with Allah, and you can't do that. That's messing about. Shams, you got a question? No, it's okay? Okay, bismillah. So yeah, eating or drinking forgetfully does not break the fast. Okay, just remember that. Forgetfully is when you're just not aware that you are fasting. If you're aware you're fasting and it happens accidentally, that breaks the fast, as we're going to learn later. Yes?
If you like cooking and you accidentally taste something.
Tasting is okay. So tasting is with the taste buds which are on your tongue, not in your throat. Okay, that's eating. Okay, so tasting with the tongue, tip of the tongue better than the middle even, is allowed, or is not allowed. It doesn't break the fast. It's disliked. But as they say, the women can taste the food to check the salt and spices. Okay, fine. Even when they're fasting. But that's tasting on the tongue and then spitting it out and rinsing your mouth, not swallowing what you taste. So there's something called, ladies know what it is. You should know what it is. Tasting and it's eating. Men just not eating. They just swallow. But you should know there's a tasting element which is on the tongue, and then there's a swallowing, which is called eating or consumption of food. So yeah, you're not allowed to consume. You're allowed to, not allowed to taste either, but it's just not going to break the fast. It's disliked. It's not good. Okay, next question for you all. If someone intentionally, deliberately eats and breaks the fast, they have to fast something consecutive days to make up for, expiate means make up for that, to atone for that. What? How number? Hands up, please. How much? Yes, at the back. 60. Agree with that, Anjum? 60? We don't want to do that then, do we? Right? 60 consecutive days if you deliberately break a fast of Ramadan. This is only for Ramadan. This is only for, outside of Ramadan, if you break a fast, you've got to make that one up. In Ramadan, if you break a fast, you've got to make that one fast up. If it's for a reason. If it's for absolutely no reason, no illness, no fatigue, nothing, just I don't care about this fast anymore. That's what you're saying, aren't you? I'm going to eat and drink, and you've intended to fast, and you've done all of these things, and then you decide to break it. It's very rude, it's very sinful, but it also requires 60 days of consecutive fasting at any point in your life to atone, to make up for that. Not just tawbah, you have to do that as well. You got to say, astaghfirullah, ya Allah, I broke the fast, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. It was wrong of me, yeah, do tawbah. But then also add to that 60 days of consecutive fasting. I don't want to ask if anyone who's done that or is working through that, it's a very bad thing to do, or, Okay, when we are young, we might have done silly things, but, if you have, do make it up, inshallah ta'ala. So that breaks the fast and requires a expiation, okay? The following are just things which break the fast, okay? You've got a list there, right? Could you read the first one for me off the list, Hamad? Okay, next one. After that. After that, it says accidentally swallowing water. Okay, there we go, right? So it's a different order that I've put here, okay? So that concept of 60 days consecutive fasting and expiation is only for two situations. Is only for two situations. And I've marked them out there for you, okay? If you deliberately consume any food or drink, if you deliberately have marital relations during the fast of Ramadan, that will require 60 days of consecutive fasting to atone, to make up. Any other way you break the fast, which we're going to learn now, so we're going to learn all the different situations which break the fast, will not require for you to do 60 consecutive days of fasting. What you will be required to do is make up that one day. Is that clear, Huram? So there's two situations where you will have to make up the fast and fast additional 60 consecutive days. But all of the situations which break the fast, like everything else, like illnesses and swallowing water accidentally and intentionally inhaling smoke of a cigarette or bukhur, right, that first one there. These will break the fast, but will require you to just make up that one day. Do you have to fast 60 days? No. Yes, Shams? Yeah, for one fast. That's right. So the question is, if you break one fast, it's 60 days. Okay, what if you break a one after that? That's another 60 days, yes. What if you break another one after that? Another 60 days, yes. So if you break every fast in Ramadan, it's 180 days, is it? No, it's 1,800 days. Okay, that's too much. That nobody has to fast that much. So they all combine into one. So the idea of fasting 60 consecutive days is like a punishment. It's like an atonement. So if you do that, it atones for every fast you've done like that. But that doesn't mean it gives you a license to say, right, I'll break all of them and then, I'll make up one. No, if you end up breaking a fast or two or three, deliberately, intentionally, in the ways mentioned at the bottom of the slide, on top of your page, then you will have to make up the fast and fast 60 consecutive days to atone, okay? Every other situation, we're going to learn several situations now, that break the fast will require just to make up one fast. Those two situations are unique. Yes?
Just a quick question. So for women who require to make up 60 days,
yep.
obviously won't be.
Yeah, so for men and women, you can't have a break in the 60 days. So you can't have it during Eid, so if you're going to fast after Ramadan, but there's a big Eid coming, you can't do that because you won't be able to fast on the days of Eid, okay? So that will require you to fast after Eid. You can't have a break. For women, obviously there's going to be certain times of the month they can't fast. Those are forgiven. So you fast 25 days, then you'll have 5 days you don't fast, another 25 days, 5 days you don't fast, then 10 days. So women will get a break, men will get 0 breaks, right? So yeah, if you have to fast 60 consecutive days. Does that make sense? Yep.
Does the ruling apply on nafli roza?
No, this is only for the fast of Ramadan. If you break the fast of Ramadan deliberately by eating anything or having relations, then that will require the 60 days. Any other way of breaking the fast, and any other fast, whether it's in, we're doing Shawwal, or we're doing Dhul Qa'dah, or doing, Sha'ban now, these, if you break them, it's not good to break them deliberately, but you will only have to make up one fast. You have to make up the one fast, not 60 consecutive days. Yes?
So with the 60 consecutive days, you make up for the one that you missed and 60
Yeah, that's right. So you do 61, yeah. So you do one that makes up the fast, and that 60 days is not making up the fast, it's like an atonement, like a punishment. You got to do that to get the forgiveness of Allah. He's asked you to do, I haven't asked you, Allah said do that, right? So I can do tawbah and istighfar, but sometimes Allah has asked us to do a process of atonement, expiation called kaffara. We have to do certain kaffarat. Kaffarat for different things. You break an oath, you break a fast. Manslaughter has a kaffara. Unfortunately, if people are involved in like a car accident, you have to do a kaffara. There's different situations where you'll have to expiate and atone for something that's happened. This is one of the situations. That's in addition to making up the fast. So you make up one. And if you can't do that, there's actually other options, right? So if you can't fast 6 consecutive days, you're too ill, you just try your best and you can't and you can't and you can't. What do you do next? Yeah, you feed 60 poor people 2 meals, right? So, whatever that is, right? That's just money. But yes, if you can't fast. So you try 60 consecutive days, you get to 7 and you get ill, you get to 10 and you get ill, you get to 15 and you get ill. You just can't manage it. It's just too hard for you, right? It's just physically not possible to fast. Everyone says they can't. I'm pretty sure we can. It's just a determination thing. It's a, having that resolve. But yeah, if you're just not able, then you would pay to feed, or you would feed 60 poor people 2 meals a day. So you'd give them breakfast and lunch, or lunch and dinner. You make sure they're fed twice. Whatever that costs, pay for it, or feed them. You literally feed them. In the olden days, you used to feed people. Now we just send money to charities. But as long as people are fed with the money, that's what counts, and that's what will expiate for you. So there's 3 levels of expiation. One is freeing a slave, which we can't do anyway. The second is fasting 60 consecutive days, which we can probably do. And if you can't do that one, then you feed 60 poor people 2 meals a day. And if you can't afford that, then just do tawbah.
Is that like against one roza, 64 people one day?
Yeah, but for all of them. So if you've broken 1, 2, 3, 4 fasts deliberately, intentionally, then one feeding 60 people is enough. Yeah, one set of 60 people is enough. You don't have to do multiple ones. No, then it will get expensive, right? And with the fasting, it'll get too much. 120 days, 180 days. It's just one set of 60 fasts or one feeding of 60 poor people, which is an expiation. Okay, let's look at these things then. Let's look at the things which break the fast, which don't require expiation. Okay, intentionally inhaling smoke, e.g. of a bukhur. What's bukhur? What's incense? What is it? It smells nice, yeah, if you get good ones. We've got some, I think, here. I think we're sold out. We usually have a few of incense at the back. I think we don't have any, not got any new ones in recently. But yeah, it smells nice, so what does that mean? It's a fragrance. It has a fragrance, but it's actually got medicinal properties as well. Traditional bukhur is actually wood. It's made, there's different incenses as well. There's frankincense, as you know, as well, which is made of like, I think, is it wood? It's like a residue of something, isn't it? I don't know if you've seen that. But yeah, there's different types. All of these things, which give us a nice smell, are burnt, or not burnt in like a fire, but they're burnt on a piece of coal, hot ember, that allows that to burn slowly and releases a smoke, a lot of smoke. I don't know if you've seen bukhur burning, there's a lot of smoke, right? That has medicinal properties, that has a good smell, that's got particles to it. If you go and inhale that smoke whilst fasting, you've broken your fast. And a lot of people don't know this one. Right? So you shouldn't be burning bukhur whatever quality it is. I'll do the cheap one. Yeah, that's the same. It's going to break your fast, and it's cheap. But nice expensive one, it's going to break your fast, right? Do not burn bukhur during the day whilst fasting. You can, but don't wait to the room for an hour or two. let the smoke and everything go. But don't do it. Do it at night in Ramadan, right? So using bukhur, which is pieces of material, wood, etc., that you burn to release a nice aroma, smell, and fragrance, which has smoke particles, which you'll see clearly. You can't avoid the smoke. That inhaling, so burning it doesn't break the fast. You could be burning over there, it doesn't break the fast. But inhaling the smoke will break the fast. You all know what a cigarette is, that part? Anybody want clarification on a cigarette? You sure? Okay. The question now is e-cigarettes, right? What about them? Yes?
Like, for example,
They break the fast as well, I believe, because you're swallowing something.
you're walking past, you're fasting, and someone is smoking.
Yeah, and you walk past. Yeah, so it's okay. We said that before. If you accidentally, unintentionally inhale smoke, it doesn't break the fast. There you go. Smoking into the throat unintentionally. Yeah, covered that one. Okay, so that does happen. You walk past people, they're smoking, they blow smoke, or bukhur is being burnt in a shop. You walk in. Oh, I didn't know they're burning bukhur. Get back. Yeah, if it's not you doing it deliberately to yourself and etc., and it's accidental, it's unintentional, not forgetful, even unintentional. It's different. Remember, forgetful. Then it doesn't break the fast yet. So if you deliberately burn bukhur, inhale the smoke, that will break your fast. If somebody, due to circumstances, it comes your way, you try to avoid it, you end up breathing in, that won't break the fast, okay? The other one was accidentally swallowing water used for gargling or when swimming or having a shower. We mentioned that swimming doesn't break the fast, gargling doesn't break the fast, having a shower doesn't break the fast, but accidentally swallowing water during those activities will break the fast. Yep. Is that clear? You gargling and you just went down your throat, you broke the fast. Be careful. That's why I say when you gargle for wudu in Ramadan, don't be too strong or excessive with it. Be careful. Yes.
Just a quick question about when you said bakur, so does that include the room freshener and the loban we do it for freshening?
Good question. Because it has got particles, but it hasn't got a smoke. I don't think that's healthy for you to inhale either. So no, I would say that's okay, but I wouldn't do it because it's not good for you to inhale that. So you're supposed to spray it and leave it and go away. The bukhur is medicinal. It's actually good for you. So yeah, the spray, although it's got particles, which I don't know, they probably would go into your body. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so, but I would avoid that. But I wouldn't say it breaks the fast because it's not like smoke entering your lungs and your body is getting a medicinal benefit. It's actually harmful, so I would avoid those sprays. I wouldn't go near them. Spray them and we use them, but like leave the room when you do that. So yeah, it would be better to avoid.
That would also be the case for like deodorants.
Yeah, deodorants and stuff. Yes, if you end up spraying deodorant and smelling it, it doesn't break the fast. Yeah. So using itar, if you use the perfumes with the spray or oil ones, smelling those and putting them on doesn't break the fast. Yeah, they don't count as breaking the fast. It's specific to a bukhur or incense which you burn and it has a lot of smoke. I'm sure those of you seen it, you know what I mean. If you haven't seen it, YouTube it after you go home today, right, and see what it is. Yep. Yeah, inhaler breaks the fast. Yes, because with the inhaler, with the e-cigarettes, with all of these things, you're taking it into your throat deliberately. So you're deliberately taking something into your throat, and it's going down to the esophagus. Is that what they call it? The trachea, esophagus, these windpipe and your food pipe thing, right? So it's going to break the fast because once it goes to the throat and down, and there's particles, and you've done that, it breaks the fast.
What about swallowing your saliva?
That doesn't break the fast. That doesn't. That's coming later. 1 second. The following also break the fast. The start of the menstruation for the ladies. So if that happens before Maghrib, it will break the fast, and they obviously won't be able to fast the following days, but they will make up the fast after Ramadan. Consuming anything that is not nutritious, such as sand, wood, piece of paper, chew paper, that breaks the fast. Yeah, it breaks the fast, but what does it not require? 60 days of consecutive fasting. So it still breaks the fast. You have to make it up after Ramadan, but there's no atonement expiation. But if you eat food, that requires 60 days with it. So avoid everything, but eating food would be really worse, right? Why would you eat something non-nutritious? Accident, I don't know, just happened to do it. But yeah, Any other questions regarding what breaks the fast? Have you got a question?
So it's making up that fast day only when you
Yes.
menstruate, not the whole.
That's it, yeah, that's that day. The day that you've missed, that you broke the fast due to the menstrual cycle, that day only you'll be required to make up, and the days you're going to miss afterwards, but for that day only you would, so it doesn't count the day yet. If it happened before Maghrib, if it happened in the night, then you fasted, you completely at Maghrib, no problem. The other point here is, I mentioned it earlier and I'll mention it again, injections don't break the fast. Okay, so when they inject in your arm, like the vaccination, you get your vaccinations done, we all forgot about them now, but yeah, if you get a pain-killing injection or whatever, it could be insulin or something, these kind of injections, people have different types of injections or, medicines. Injections will not break the fast. Okay, I've had an injection while fasting. It was very nice, yeah. It was a painkiller one, so it was beautiful. Yeah. I had kidney stones, I was dying, and I went to so this is a funny story, I was in Syria, it was the end of Ramadan, so it was like in the last 10 nights, I know because, it got bad, and and the pain was there, like it was growing, and then one day I was to my wife, I was like, I'm dying, I just couldn't control it, I couldn't bear it anymore. She goes, what's up? I goes, I'm just dying. She goes, what to do? So what would you do in that situation? Like, what would people do? Phone ambulance? Phone the doctor? I phone my friend. I goes, what do I do? He goes, come to my shop. I goes, I'm dying. He goes, here, come. So I went to him. He goes, I'll phone you the doctor. So he phoned the doctor. He goes, go get him an x-ray and go get him a painkiller. So I was like, fantastic, right? So he explained to the doctor. I was in Syria. it's not the same as here. There's no ambulances, right? There isn't. You could probably phone one. It cost you a bomb. So it's all private and paid for. So there's no free. Well, there are, but they're very, very poor free services or, government services. So I had to pay for the x-ray. I had to pay for the painkiller. So he took me on the back of his bike. It's funny, so like I was saying, I went down to his shop, and he goes, I get on the back of the bike. I goes, I'm dying. He goes, you get on the back of the bike. So he rode me to the he rode me to the pharmacist down the road, and went in there. He goes, right, turn around. And he did it on the back, he didn't do it on the bottom, but yeah, I goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm fasting. He goes, yeah, I'm giving you an injection. You're not in pain? I goes, I'm dying. He goes, take it. I don't know what injection it was, but the pain just went. I was like, alhamdulillah, it must have been opium or something, I don't know. I'm not joking, I'm joking. It was really nice. It was probably paracetamol. Can you get paracetamol injections? Yeah, probably something like that. Trust me, it wasn't nothing more. Maybe a bit stronger, I don't know. But I felt really, alhamdulillah, ya Allah. And then I was like, can I keep fasting? Because I didn't know at that time as well if injections break the fast. So I asked somebody, he goes, yeah, that's why I give you injection for, not a tablet. I was, oh, thank you. This saved my fast. But I was told not to fast after that, because when you got kidney stones, you're not supposed to fast. So I didn't have the x-ray done, and he goes, you got to go to the ultrasound. So I had to pay for the x-ray. And ultrasound's expensive. It's not cheap, right? It's free here, I know, but when you're in private healthcare, or there's no healthcare really. But luckily, they sent me to a doctor, and he was really nice. He didn't charge me anything. Dr. Abdul Halim Mu'ti, his name was, and because I was, a student and was from abroad, and he knew obviously my situation, he was actually upset when I offered him, some money and stuff, right? So he was like, no, don't want to take anything off you. So he did ultrasound, like he put that gel on me and did it, and he goes, you got 18 millimeter stone there, and I think I had an 11 millimeter one and like a 7 millimeter one. He goes, you got 3. He goes, where do you get them from? I goes, doc, I don't know. So I had these 3 stones, and so he goes, can I fast Ramadan? He goes, no, you cannot fast Ramadan. You need water. He goes, to be honest, you need to operate, but you can't afford the operation, and it's too much of a headache, so I'm going to give you lots of stuff. Hopefully it'll break them down and clear them out, and it did. So he gave me all this tea. I don't know what tea it was, to be honest, but it just kept on going through me, basically, right? And it was problematic. And I didn't fast for the rest of Ramadan, to be honest. I think I tried to fast the 27th fast, or I think I did fast one day. I was like, I'll try this one, just for the 27th. But yeah, I missed about 7-8 fasts at the end of Ramadan that year, and it cleared up. So what he gave me worked. So I went in for a check again, so I went in to see him, and he did ultrasound. He goes, they've gone. I was really, doc, they've gone. He goes, yeah, they've gone. I went in like 3 weeks later, he asked me to come in. That was all free, yeah, so alhamdulillah, right? Look, personal health care for free. It's really good to have private health care. I had my own personal doctor. But the thing was, there's a lot of people at his surgery because he helped a lot of people. So they would be there waiting to take their, and I asked, when I went, I was feeling embarrassed, like, am I imposing or, stopping somebody else from treatment as well? So, he was a really nice doctor. Allah bless him. So I won't ever forget him, to be honest. Always make dua for him. Yes? We had a question here first as well. So sorry, who is the question from? Yes, sorry. Does dialysis break the fast? I don't know how dialysis works, so I can't tell you. Yeah. Yep. So it's basically blood coming out, going through the machine and coming back in. And so the machine's acting like the kidneys and cleaning up the blood. Okay. I don't know if that breaks the fast or not. I can't really say. I'm sorry. I would think it doesn't, to be honest, because you're not eating anything. You just blood's going in and out. So bleeding doesn't break the fast. And the same blood being put back in doesn't break the fast either, right? So I would say it doesn't. But I would just say that if somebody's on dialysis, they're probably better off not fasting, health-wise in general. But if they did, I don't think based on the principles of what breaks the fast, it would break the fast. Because taking blood out and putting blood in that system, it wouldn't break the fast. Allahu Alam. The question from home?
Yes, from what he said.
Wa alaikum assalam. Oh, we're going to come on to that actually. Let's come on to that now actually. So ear drops, basically, because you're putting liquid into the eyes, and ear drops for the ears, sorry, eye drops for the eyes, sorry. I was going to say ear drops again. So yeah, there's two things, right? So you put drops into the ear and drops into the eyes for whatever reason. You're allowed to apply kohl to the eyes whilst you're fasting. Yeah, not mascara, that's on the eyelashes. The actual kohl which goes into the eye, right, is you put the powder you put right into the eyelid. You will be careful how you do it as well, but it's beneficial. It's got its sunnah. It's got its surma. Yeah, surma. Right, kohl is surma. Right, so surma, ladies. Yeah, mashallah. Not mascara and eyeliner and all that. Surma. So yeah, men are allowed surma as well. It's fine for everyone. That doesn't break the fast. Okay, that. Even if you feel the taste coming into your throat, because there's a passage from the eyes to the throat, I don't know, it's been mentioned in the books of fiqh, you can. I think I have felt the taste once as well, using that. So yeah, that doesn't break the fast. So based on that principle, eye drops don't break the fast. Yeah. So if you've got contact lenses, they require, lubricating liquids. So eye contact lenses and stuff like that, eye drops, won't break the fast because you're putting something into the eye. It's not coming. It's not going into the stomach. Okay, yes, you may feel it, and I think people do who wear contact lenses sometimes feel the taste in the throat. Do they? No, you don't feel it ever. Yeah, some people who wears contact lenses. Have you ever felt the taste in their throat? Yes. Yeah, one or two have. Yep. Yes. Yeah. So if it does, if it so little. Yeah. Drop. Are you a doctor? Optician. Okay, mashallah. Right. So that's the thing, that even if it does that, it doesn't break the fast. Weirdly enough, right? Because with the kohl as well, I mean the kohl, like I said, it's minimal and you don't always feel it, hence the contact lenses, you don't always feel it. But sometimes you do, okay? That, it doesn't break the fast. Okay? With the eardrop, so eye drops, putting in the eye doesn't break the fast. With eardrops, I will say traditionally, meaning in the books of fiqh, they considered eardrops, the ear to be a passage, and anything that goes through ear like medicine and stuff and a lot of water would break the fast. Okay, so you will find that in the books of fiqh. What I've seen now and I've researched and looked at and been told is that, not just from an Islamic perspective, based on science, is that there isn't a passage from the ear into the body. It's not an open passage, right? It's not penetratable. It's penetratable, but it's not, if you put something in, it doesn't go through. Therefore, putting something in the ear wouldn't break the fast. So some scholars are now giving the fatwa that ear drops are okay as well. If you look in the books of fiqh traditionally, you pick up a classical book of text up, they'll always have said ear drops break the fast, eye drops don't, right? Now, you even get the fatwa that even eardrops are okay, because why? There's no passageway into the cavity of the body inside from the ear, right? Allahu alam, right? So you could take that fatwa if you need to take eardrops, basically. If you're somebody who has ear problems or needs eardrops, then that's there. With the eye drops, you're in a, the situation's a bit easier for you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Any other questions? So we're gonna leave that now. So anything about breaking or not breaking the fast needs to be discussed now. Yes.
It's indirectly connected. If somebody has got, like your situation, have kidney stones and they cannot fast, do they have to make it up like feeding the 64 people against that, or they are forgiven for that?
Very good question. We're going to come on to the illnesses at the end. The others coming later. But for my situation, I could fast. It's just that time of my life, it happened. So what happens, they got better, alhamdulillah. I've had it since as well, actually. So I've had it twice since. But not for a long time now, because I listen and drink water now. So it's like you have to keep drinking water. And so I hope my kidneys are fine, but you never know. It's like in the family and stuff. So I can fast. But some people, like you said, they will just never be able to fast. I know I have a friend who's from Tunisia. Every Ramadan, he tries to fast the first. He just can't fast. First day he tries because he wants to fast. You never know. This year might be okay, the short fast. And half the day through, he just, for some reason, he just can't cope with fasting. And he's my age. He's like, I think, a year older than me. He can't fast. So every year he's really sad because he wants to fast. And that's, very upsetting and difficult for people that want to fast and young and healthy, or supposedly healthy in many ways, but not healthy in the way of certain parts of the body. So what do they do? They don't fast. You're not allowed to fast, and they can't make up the fast because they can't fast. So that's a unique situation. Most people who miss fast will miss because of a temporary illness, temporary condition, operation, and they will recover, and then they can make up the fasts. You understand there's two people, right? So we're currently talking about the ones that are ill for a limited period of time, for a week, for a day, or even for the whole month of Ramadan, but they're going to get better, and then they can make up all the fasts. So some people do have to miss most of Ramadan. Why? They had an operation, they were ill, they couldn't fast. Okay, 6 months later they're fine, a year later they're fine, and I can make up those fasts. So that's what we're talking about here. As for the person who is just due to a medical condition or an illness is unable to fast at all, that person will never fast and will have to pay, like you said. And we'll talk about that later. We'll leave that situation till later, yeah? So I don't want a question about that situation. I don't mind a question about person A who can't fast for 3 days and makes them up for Ramadan. As for person B who can't fast for the rest of his life, leave him alone for now. Don't bother him. We'll bother him in the end. Go ahead.
When they do 60 consecutive days, can they combine intentions like Monday Sunnah and also?
No, you just fast as a repentance to Allah. What have you exactly done to fast 60 days? You've violated Allah's commands. So those 6 days are just for expiation, yeah. Mondays and Thursdays, you should be thinking about that. You should be thinking, I need to make up, Ya Allah, these 60, and then maybe Mondays and Thursdays, yeah, after, inshallah. So you're in a form of repentance, atonement, and the atonement process, you don't bring Sunnah Nafal into it. Yes, young lady? Yeah, of course you can. So, I've seen these, the question is, can you do the half fast, yeah? Yeah, no, it's brilliant. So I've seen these timetables now, this really good. So what you see is the normal Ramadan timetable and the children's Ramadan timetable, yes? And I really like this idea because the children's one is the half fast. So it's really good to do the half fast, yeah. So if you want to do the half fast, there's a special timetable for you, just follow that one. And you don't have to wait all the way till 7:30, 40 probably now, right? 7:35ish by the next week, 7:45. You don't have to wait till the end of Maghrib and everything. You can I don't know what time it is, but it's maybe 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I don't know. It's like midday. Yeah, get the hang of it. So yes, for children, not for adults. Okay, what's your name? What's your name, young lady? Zainab, mashallah. So for children and people learning to fast, they're growing up and they learn to fast, that's brilliant. As for your mom and other people who are, mashallah, adults, they have to do the full fast. They can't do the same one as you, yeah? Is that okay? Thank you very much, mashallah, excellent. Any other questions on what does or doesn't break the fast? Just want to complete that before we move on. Any questions? Well, if you have to go in for an operation, right, and they put you on the, is it called anesthetic, and put you to sleep, does that break your fast? Yes, because it goes into your body. It's like the gas, I don't know what it is exactly that they put into you. Anybody been in? Alhamdulillah, a few times. And they put you to sleep, that breaks the fast. Okay, so yes, if you have to go in for an operation and under anesthetic, meaning they put you to sleep, there's different types of anesthetic, the one that puts you to sleep, that's put into your body. They say that, don't they? You go to sleep in a while, you go to sleep and you just fall asleep and you wake up in pain, and they probably put a lot of painkillers in you to reduce it. So yes, that will break the fast. So if you're going for operation on that day, don't fast that day. You know you got a procedure coming up tomorrow or the day after. That day, don't fast. If you're okay to fast the next day, brilliant. If you're not, wait till you recover. Yes.
If someone took surgery on arms or something, does it require?
Yeah, if it's that local anesthetic, what they call the injection that numbs it down, what's that called? Yeah, if it's that one, then it's okay. That doesn't break the fast. Because that's an injection, and it's okay. Injections are okay. When they put it in the vein and put you to sleep and everything, they put it in the mouth or the vein. I don't know how they do it yet, but the vein, isn't it? That breaks the fast. So yeah, that one will. Yeah.
What about the dentist when they put it in the gums? That will not go in, but just to numb that.
Yeah, again, same. That's local. That won't break the fast. Yeah, but be careful. Nothing goes in your throat whilst at the dentist, because that will break the fast. So yeah, tell him I'm fasting. Just keep it up here. don't go down here. Keep that. All the injections away. Yeah. So yes, when you go to the dentist, be careful not to swallow. So you can go to the dentist while fasting, as long as you don't swallow anything whilst at the dentist. Yeah. So be careful. Yeah. Any other questions about what does or doesn't break the fast? So we said earlier, tasting. Yeah. Does tasting break the fast? No. Does using toothpaste break the fast? Why not? You're not swallowing it. So again, same thing. If you swallow toothpaste, it breaks the fast. Swallowing anything breaks the fast. But if you just use it, meaning on the teeth, and you will taste it, but again, does tasting break the fast? No. So does tasting toothpaste break the fast? No. Okay. But if you feel the taste in here, it will. We said when it gets to this level, you've broken the fast, the throat. When it's just on the tongue, and hence be careful when it's brushing your teeth, it doesn't break the fast. Does using a miswak break the fast? No. Is it good or bad to use the miswak? We'll find out later. Okay, anything else you want to ask about what does or doesn't break the fast? Anything from home? Anything from our viewers? Nope. Okay, let's move on then. So the following people will have to remain not eating for the remainder of the fast, even though they're not fasting that day. So these 4 categories of people are not going to get the fast of that day. They can't eat or drink. So be careful, right? You may fall into this category. If you break your fast, if you accidentally swallow water during the day, what happens? You've broken your fast. Can you eat and drink now? No, you've got to stay, refrain, necessary, wajib, it's not option. You've got to stay away from food and drink for the rest of that day. Even though you've broken your fast, yes. For the lady who becomes pure and free from the menstrual cycle, for the remainder of the day, no, you're not supposed to eat and drink. It's wajib for you to remain away from food and drink, if you've stopped the menstrual cycle. For a boy or girl who matures, that's probably a very fine line. I don't think we can recognize when that happens. But yeah, if they knew that happened, then for the rest of the day, not matures meaning becomes pubescent, puberty kicks in, which is a moment in time. It's not like a massive period. The start of it is just a moment in time. And if a non-Muslim becomes a Muslim, somebody embraces Islam during the day in Ramadan, the first thing you tell them is don't eat. You're a Muslim now, don't say that. Okay, don't do that. I'm joking, by the way, don't do that. Yeah, the first thing you say is welcome to Islam, Allah bless you, celebrate it. Let's go for a meal once we open our fast. And by the way, you don't have to fast today, but it's better if you don't eat today as well, just to join in with the fun, right, with us, right? But if but if any of these need to drink and eat, then it's fine. It's not like you're forced to do it. If you have to drink and eat, even if you're fasting, you have to drink and eat, you can break the fast. But these people, obviously, it is required. It's necessary, meaning a wajib. It's not an option. But of course, if it gets too much for them at a certain stage, yeah, have a drink of water, etc. It says, note, the first 2 will make up the fast. Right? So the lady who becomes pure will not get that day of fasting like we said. That was the answer to the question before as well. And the person who breaks the fast will have to make up the fast as well. We got a question now from home.
Show which the hadith where beauty rulings come from. Or do you not have them on hand?
We don't have them here, so that's one thing that if we put the hadith in, they're all from hadith by the way, and the Quran, but if we put the hadith in, we'll be here for 6 hours. That's the problem, right? All books of fiqh, by the way, don't come with the hadith. Whichever school of thought you're from, they're just books of fiqh. The hadith are in other books which are like that size. So you do study them. If you want to study Islamic studies, you're welcome. And we do go through them and we've been through them, and scholars have written books showing this ruling is from this hadith. It's very clear, alhamdulillah. Our Sharia is based on hadith and Quran and Sunnah. But in such a time frame for everybody, what the job of the teacher is, or the scholar is, or the mufti is to give fatwa and not to break the ruling in terms of here's the Quran, here's the hadith, here's this. Why? Because it would confuse a lot of people in the first place, right? What's going on, this, that, the other. And your answer is basically do this or don't do this. That's what matters. And that's what the Sahaba taught their students. They didn't say to them, the hadith say this, they said do this, do this, do that. So that's why it's always been from day one. It's always been, this is the ruling. Those who are inquisitive, it's a good thing by the way, even among the early generations, they would go and study with the Sahaba. They said, okay, you're telling this is the rulings, let me go study them. So that means you dedicate a period of your life and time, whether it's a few hours a day or a week or more or less, to find out those things, right? So that's not the scope of, today's seminar. So yeah, any questions on that? Those people should not eat. The first two will make up the fast. The second two don't have to make up the fast. Okay, yes?
Can I just double confirm? So you make up the fast for the day you turn on your menstrual cycle and the day that you come off?
That's right.
Or also the ones in between as well, like if you have period for 5 days, it's 4 or 5
That
days.
is correct.
4 or 5 days.
Yep. Okay. Next question. The sunnah of fasting is to eat the something meal. Half of you going to get it wrong. What's the other answer? Yeah, that's the wrong one. It's sunnah, but the real sunnah is suhoor. Okay, we call it sahri, right? It's called suhoor in Arabic. The sunnah of fasting, or to start the fast, one of the sunnahs of fasting is to have that meal in the morning. A lot of us think it's not important. I'll have water before I go to sleep. I won't wake up. You can fast without having this meal. So here's two important clarifications. One, suhoor is not a condition for fasting. Some people believe if I don't wake up for suhoor, I can't fast tomorrow. Put your hand up if you used to believe that. If I don't wake up for suhoor, I can't fast tomorrow. Yeah. That's what people think. Oh, I didn't wake up today, I don't have to fast, or I can't fast. No, you didn't wake up, you still got to fast, right? So it's not a condition of fasting to wake up for suhoor. Okay, don't think that. Yes. Yes, we'll talk about that now. Yeah, I was going to come on to that. Okay, so if you don't wake up, what happens? You haven't made the niyyah, right? I was going to come on to that. But before we come on to that, waking up for the suhoor is full of blessings. Okay, it's a blessed meal. It should be done. It's a sunnah. Like one of the most emphasized sunnahs of fasting is a meal. But it doesn't mean here a feast. Like you have to, put everything on. You can have a little extra food, whatever. It means some food. Like, a glass of water and a few dates, a bowl of cereal, wholemeal bread and, a bit of honey or something, fluids and a bit of, slow release carbs and healthy food is what you need, like oats and bran flakes or something. Not your fried, stuff that most people have, right? Whether it's a fried piece of bread or fried piece of chicken or, it's just weird what people think they need for fasting. Fried food. Probably caused my kidney stones. I don't know. I don't think I used to. So actually, we didn't used to have fried food. So we don't have fried food. So at home, we have it because people may give food, and it's good to do that in Ramadan. But we ourselves don't make fried food, right? We don't do it. Alhamdulillah. It's probably because of me, because I don't like it, and it causes me problems. I like it. I like eating it. We've got to just learn to live without things in life. So definitely have the meal, but keep it healthy. That's the whole idea. Keep it healthy. Keep it beneficial for your fast. Okay, so going back to this point which was mentioned, which I was going to come on to, and I knew it was going to be asked, so I was kind of That's why I said that I was going to come on to it. That if you don't wake up for suhoor and, which is what it's about, is it about 3, it's gone forward, isn't it? Is it about 4:50 now? Depending on the timetable you follow. So it's about 4:50, 5 o'clock, let's say. Yeah, it's gone forward, isn't it? So about 5 o'clock, let's just say, right? If you don't wake up before 5, let's say 4:30, and have your meal, and you wake up, it's 5:30, you're going to pray Fajr and everything, but you can't eat now. Why? Because Fajr time started, you're going to pray Fajr, can't have a sip of water, no. Can't have a little piece of fruit, no. You can't have anything to eat. Well, I'm not going to fast then, am I? No, you got to fast, okay? Oh, but I haven't made the intention. I can't fast now. So people want to get out of it, right? No. You can make the intention when you wake up. So you don't have to intend to fast before the fast starts. You can make the intention after the fast has started, and you have to. It's not an option, you have to. So when you wake up at 5:30, 6, you might wake up late, you might miss Fajr unfortunately, and wake up at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. and going to work or whatever, school, college. When you wake up, you've realized, I didn't wake up today, I missed, so you'll make your intention to fast that. You have to make the intention though, yes, that is a very valid point. You have to intend to fast in the beginning of the fast, right? Not before the fast. Yes, before is the best way. But even in the beginning of the fast, you can make the intention. So normally, this is unique to fasting, by the way. You can actually do it with zakat as well. Normally with salah you can't do it. You can't start your salah, Allahu Akbar, I intend to pray now, and you're halfway. You can't do that. With salah, obviously, that's why we compare it. Are you thinking, well, salah you have to do intention, niyyah before. Well, how does it work? How do you got to do it before? But with zakat and fasting, it can be done after as well. That's weird, I know, but it can be done after. Zakat is a bit more technical. I won't go into zakat, how you make the intention after you've given money or charity. You can make it into zakat. But with fasting, it's straightforward. You just wake up late, time is gone, and you make the intention. I'm fasting this day, so it's going to be this day. However, there is a cut-off point. You can't intend to fast at Asr time, for instance. That's too late. So where is the cut-off point? That yes, if you didn't make intention before the cut-off point, you haven't fasted that day. You can't fast that day. When is the cut-off point? Zawal? Zohar? Not exactly, but close. Anyone? Zawal is Zohar, really, same thing. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is more to the position of the sun. Or timing of the fast, I would say. Because your fast is from dawn, which is, let's say 5 o'clock, easy, till sunset, which is 7:45 today, right? Or 7:40-ish today. Okay, so you have until half of the fast has elapsed or passed by to make the intention. So that, I don't know what the maths is now, I complicated it. So from 5 till 12 is 7 hours, and from 12 till 7:45 is 7 hours and 45. So you've got 14 hours and 45 minutes. What's half of that? 7 hours and 22 minutes. So start from 5 again. Your fast starts at 5 a.m. 7 hours and 22 minutes in, it's 12:22. So if you make your intention before that time, which is more or less Zawal, midday time, but it's not, Zawal will be about 1:20, I think, now, because the clocks have gone forward. So yes, before Zawal. So it would be before Zawal. The timing that is half the fasting day is usually around an hour before Zawal. That is actually how it works. So as long as you make your intention at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 10:30, 11, it's fine. If you remember to make your intention, you wake up really late and wake up at 2 o'clock, and you didn't intend the night before, you can't fast that day. Okay, so what to do? It's easy. Before you go to sleep, intend to fast the next day. So you can do that, yes. At night time, the time of intention starts from Maghrib, by the way. So you've opened this fast, like Maghrib time, so iftar, you can intend the next day now. So the intention doesn't start from Sahri or from the time you wake up. The intention time, ability to make intention starts from the night. Because the night comes first in Islamic calendar, right? So we're going to do the Taraweeh first. When does the night start? Maghrib. That's why you finish fasting. It's like midnight for us, right? Midnight, the calendar changes, goes from the 1st to 2nd of Ramadan, or to that. The fast ends, and the next day starts, i.e. the night is first and then the day. So because you're in the next day, you can intend that day for fasting. And you have all the night and half the day of fasting to intend. So you've got a long period of time. In any time in that moment, if you made the intention to fast, you can fast.
But if we are intending to do the fasting like after Maghrib, and if we think that we really need to eat, can we eat?
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, when you intend to fast, well, you can still eat all night. So here, I should have clarified that. It's a good question. So when you intend to fast, let's say Isha time or Maghrib time, it doesn't mean you can't eat at night now. It means you can't eat from Fajr. So you're intending to fast from Fajr. That's the thing. You're not intending to fast at night. There's no such thing as fasting at night. We're not allowed to even do that, right? So yeah, so that's, I should have clarified that. Though, a good point. So when you intend to fast at Maghrib time, Isha time, even when you intend to fast in the morning, let's say you wake up early and 4 o'clock you intend to fast, and then you want to eat something at 4:30, you can eat something at 4:30. It's not a problem, because you're intending to fast from when? From 5 o'clock, if that's the time of the start of the fast. So yeah, good question. Actually, it helps us understand this point. Is that clear, guys? So intending to fast doesn't mean you can't eat before Fajr time. So if I intend to fast at midnight, I can eat till 5 a.m. still. Okay, but you intend to fast, yeah. Fasting starts at Fajr, not at midnight. Yeah? So you don't have to stop eating when you intend the fast. Okay, you have to stop eating from when the fast starts. So this is the unique thing about zakat and fasting. The intention can be even before many hours and even after. Whereas with salah, it can't be before many hours or minutes or seconds. After, it has to be bang on. So salah is very unique in its intention. It's very time specific. Whereas the other acts of worship, the intentions, it's in a particular time, but it can be done in a more bigger parameters for the time. You've got a much more wider space to make an intention. So there's much more time to make. Even Hajj, you can make any time. The Hajj intention is at any particular point. I intended Hajj, I intended Salah, I intended fasting. It takes 2 seconds to intend something. But when can you make that intention? Any time before Hajj, a week before, day before, the day of Hajj itself in Arafat, that's the last day you can do it. Yeah, you can make the intention and go to Arafat, you got Hajj. So you go until Arafat to make intention. Once Arafat's finished, you can't do a Hajj, right? Al-Hajju Arafat. So once Arafat is finished, Hajj is finished, okay? Yes, you need to be in Ihram and all of that as well. Stop asking questions and jump in your mind. I can feel them. I can feel them coming on. Stop them. MashaAllah. Okay, recommended acts while fasting. So coming on to this. Yes?
Is it enough to intend at the beginning of Ramadan that you're going to fast for the whole of Ramadan?
So some have said that, but no, every day needs a specific intention, yeah. Every day needs a specific intention. Because every day is a new act of worship. And it's better for us spiritually, because if you just do the beginning one and then we forget, it doesn't help us to remember each act of worship. But yeah, that has been mentioned as an opinion, let's say, yeah. It has been mentioned. So this is a slide that you again have in front of you. It says the pre-dawn meal is sunnah. The Prophet said, observe suhoor, for there is blessing in the suhoor. Irbad ibn Sariya, may Allah be pleased with him, narrates that the Prophet invited me to suhoor. That's interesting, because we invite people to iftar, which is sunnah as well. But the Prophet invited somebody to suhoor. So who's going to invite me to their suhoor there, mashallah, right? In Ramadan, by saying, come and join in the blessed meal. And suhoor in those days was simple. It wasn't, you can, if you do invite people for suhoor, obviously as a host, you want to honor them. So you will offer more than just a few dates and a glass of water. Don't do that if you invite somebody. But, don't make it too overboard as well. You should invite people for suhoor, yes. I mean, neighbors, don't invite your relatives from London to Manchester. So come for suhoor. No, come for iftar, come for a day with us, right? Suhoor times, in the middle of the night or morning, just before dawn. So yeah, don't invite people that are all over the place. But yeah, your neighbors, you're all for suhoor. Come to our house for suhoor this morning. Yeah, bismillah. It's a blessed thing to do. Family and friends that are local, yeah, bismillah. But be wise. Don't invite the whole street as well. And you got a party at 5 a.m. in somebody's house as well. So it's a blessed thing to do. I mean, the Prophet invited an individual. There may be other Sahaba as well. So the Prophet invited Sallallahu. So it shows you that he wanted to get the blessings of people in his home at the time of suhoor, as well as iftar. Yes, but we miss out on the suhoor blessings. I forgot to mention this, but the suhoor is the most blessed time of the day. I forgot to mention this. You know that? The whole 24 hours, what is the best time in those 24 hours for you to worship Allah, to make dua? Suhoor. This is the time, right? The last third of the night is when Allah asks for the du'as. Allah asks, is there anybody who wants forgiveness so I can forgive him? Does anybody have a need so I can fulfill his need? What time was the Prophet ﷺ born in the day? Pre-dawn. This is the time the Prophet ﷺ was born, the best time of the day, right? So this is, what do we do? Eat food and go to sleep and wake up? No. Look what the Sahaba did. They did the suhoor and they left 50 years of the Quran to be recited until the fast starts, till Fajr. So what you should delay the suhoor, and then when you finished it, what should you do after that? You should worship. What do we do? Go to sleep. No, phone probably or something. Where is this from? Again, somebody asked, where's the hadith? This is from Sayyidah Aisha. She narrates in a sound hadith that when the Prophet would do his suhoor, the gap between his suhoor and Fajr adhan, Fajr, dawn, would be the time it takes to recite 50 ayat of the Quran. What is she teaching us? What were they doing? How would they measure 50 ayat of the Quran if they would be reading it, right? So they would read Quran after the meal. The time is a blessed. You can make du'as, you can do what you want, do zikr. You don't have to read Quran necessarily, but that's how she measured it. 50 ayat of the Quran from the time he stopped eating to the time the adhan happened. So that's pretty, how long did it take to read 50 ayat? Depending on the size of the ayat, probably that 10, 15 minutes, 10 minutes I reckon, it's not long, maybe more. It depends on the ayat, right? But not a lot. If you do Surah Ikhlas, it's 4 ayat, do it 12, 13 times, it'll take you 3-4 minutes, right? So very short. Surah Fatiha, 7 ayat, do it about 7 times, so it's not long, depending on what ayat you use and how quick you recite them. It's not a long time, 5-10 minutes. So it was very delayed, yes, 10 minutes I would say, right, 10-15 minutes. So that is the sunnah, but you shouldn't go too close, like 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? Give it a good amount of time, 10-15 minutes. And then use that 10-15 minutes to worship, right, to do du'as. Okay, if you're not in wudu, you can't read the Quran, or just do du'as, just do zikr, astaghfirullah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Use the time for worship. Dua is probably the best thing because that's the time to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have it every Ramadan, so it's the blessings of Ramadan again. Normally we don't get up at that time, at the best time. It's the tahajjud time as well, the night prayer, the last third of the night is for tahajjud. We don't get up during the rest of the year. Every Ramadan we're up, read 2 rakats, do wudu, read 2 rakats, have your suhoor, make your du'as. These beautiful opportunities for us to take the most of this month, and this is why you're here, to prepare. Learn these things, right? It's tahajjud time, read tahajjud. It's suhoor time, have the suhoor, it's a blessed meal. It's a blessed meal. And make recitation of Quran and du'as because it's the time of du'a. And the Sahaba will read Quran as we learn from this hadith at that time. Also recommended is to open the fast with haste after sunset. So delay, don't be, slow. Sunset is 7:35, whatever today, or a bit before, after. No, 7:45, we'll wait till 10 minutes. No. Who said you have to wait 10 minutes? 2 minutes, yeah. And all timetables have the 2 minutes added onto them, or not all of them. So you get different timetables from neighboring masajid for Maghrib. You can understand Fajr because there's a different opinion over the dawn and stuff. But how is sunset different from, Cheetham Hill Road to Waterloo Road to, whatever road, right? Middleton Road. It's the same, but you get timetables that say 7:43 and 7:41. Why? They've added 2 minutes on to be careful. So just stick with the timetables. They do add on a minute or two to be careful from exact sunset. But don't say, the timetable says 7:41, I'm going to do 7:51. That's not Islamic, that's not pious, that's not cautious. The Prophet himself he actually said in a hadith, I don't remember the reference for this one, but it's a well-known hadith. My ummah, actually it's not about fasting, but it's about Maghrib. He said, my ummah will be in a good shape, in a good state. They'll be pious and in salah, in goodness, until they start delaying Maghrib and the stars come out, meaning they start delaying the Maghrib prayer. So even Maghrib should be read quickly. And in Ramadan we actually do that, don't we? We eat hours of iftar and get all bloated and Maghrib salah, right? We don't even enjoy Maghrib. So when I was in Syria, the way we do it there is they do the adhan straight away at Maghrib time, and then they'd give you 5 minutes. They do it in Makkah, Medina as well. They give you probably about maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes, right? And some people start praying nafil, I know. Okay, they can pray nafil, but we shouldn't really pray nafil at that time. Okay, because they give you 7, 8 minutes. What are you going to do? People pray nafil. You have your time for your dates, your food, a little bit of refreshments. They have nice tea there in Medina. Sometimes they pour that for you. They give you a piece of bread sometimes. You've been there in Medina, anybody? For iftar? What an experience. You've been there, right? You've seen all the, sometimes if you find a good group, they give you nice little yogurt and cheese and stuff as well. It's very nice. And they clean it up and do everything. It's really proficient service they've got, mashallah. They've got these thermos of tea and everything. And even afterwards you can say, can I have some more tea, please? And they give it you, mashallah. So, and that's all done in 5 minutes. It's a nice little breakfast, because that's what it is, a breakfast type stuff, bread and yogurt and stuff. And you've broken your fast, you have a little bit of water, and Allahu Akbar, the iqamah happens, and you pray your maghrib. That's how it should be done, right? Because you've got to open your fast, and you don't want to do it in 30 seconds and then pray, because your mind's not really ready to pray after opening your fast. You need a little bit of food, a few dates, water, and that's it. A few dates and water is enough, to be honest. But we end up having the few dates, water, samosa, pakore, biryani, roti, fruits forgotten about, salads forgotten about, and then by the end we're like, Maghrib time, it's been 45 minutes. I'm okay, it's not been an hour yet. That's what we think like. It's not been an hour yet. As long as we do within an hour, for Maghrib's okay. The Prophet said, my ummah will be okay, they'll be in good shape until they start delaying Maghrib Salah. It's really bad to do that. It wasn't about delaying iftar, because I thought from I did the hadith with iftar, but it's still the same concept. Don't delay iftar, don't delay Maghrib. Increase recitation of the Noble Quran. The Prophet would increase recitation. He would review the Quran with Jibreel in the itikaf, and it was something that was well known in Ramadan for the Prophet and the Muslim Sahaba to do. So they had Taraweeh in Ramadan, which was about reading the more Quran as well. Be more generous. The hadith says in Bukhari Sharif that the Prophet was more generous than the wind in Ramadan, meaning he increased. He showed it more. He manifested it to everyone, saying, you should be more and more generous in Ramadan. Use the miswak. The hadith says you should use the miswak whilst fasting. Okay, so actually hadith promotes the use of miswak for the fasting person. Shams, this was what you were talking about before. Yes, Faisal. I said that earlier as well, yeah. So when you use the miswak, be careful not to, if you got soft gums or, you start bleeding or, it cuts you or whatever, because it can, I know your point, and blood comes into your mouth. It doesn't break the fast, bleeding, like we said, but then if you swallow that, it goes into your throat, etc. It will break the fast. So be careful. I will repeat that. Be careful when using miswak during Ramadan. It is good to do it, yeah, it's mentioned in the hadith, but be careful. Don't make yourself bleed, basically, yeah. And if you're somebody with weak gums, just avoid it. Was there a question at the back? Anyone? Zainab, you got a question? Bismillah. Yeah. Does the break? That's a good one. That's a really good one, right? So if a tooth comes out when you're fasting, does that break the fast? Your mum can answer that one. Does it break the fast? No, if your mum's saying no, she's right. If you lose a tooth, it doesn't break the fast. But again, don't let the blood go into your throat. That will break the fast. So bleeding, blood because it does come out. Sometimes tooth come out without any bleeding actually. But most of the time there is blood. If the blood was to go into the throat, it would break the fast. But just a tooth coming out does not break the fast. Shams, what's the answer? It is like to gather something and swallow it whilst fasting. Saliva. Is that what you wanted to answer, young boy? Oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry, we've got a quiz coming up at the end. Can't wait for it now. So you all know about Kahoot? Have you played Kahoot? Here we got the Kahoot quiz. Where's a £100 voucher? Let's give a book away right now. So this is a book we've got. There's other prizes. So there's dates to be given out as prizes. So we'll have like top 5 prizes, yeah? So the top prize will be the £100 voucher. That's the best one. Then we'll have a choice of book. And then we'll have actually 3. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 prizes available for the top 7. So participate. Don't give up like, oh, I'm 6th. Oh, you still win a book away. It's called The Book of Counsels of Imam Ghazali. It's beautiful, a piece of advice and admonition based on but they're not good to do. So what does it mean by disliked? Does not break the fast, is not good to do. To chew anything in the mouth, basically, plastic, paper, gathering saliva and swallowing it, to do anything that will make a person weaker, such as going to work and having exams. Yeah, is that what people say? I've got exams, can't fast. I've got to go to work, can't fast. I didn't hear that, don't you? Right? You know, some people, they're builders, and you see them fasting, and I've seen them in the Muslim world, maybe not here, I don't know. You see them working all day, and you think, are you fasting? They're like, yeah. I'm like, how are you going to kill yourself? But they fast. The Sahaba were in the desert, and they were in the heat, and they fasted, right? I fasted in Pakistan, and I fasted in like 5 different countries, and it's tough. I had to give up the fasting in Pakistan. I had bleeding and stuff, right? I couldn't cope. You need your water and your hydration. It's really tough. But people fast, just because you got school and exams and work, it's not an excuse, okay? But doing something that will make you weaker, which is what it says there, such as going to the gym for 2 hours, don't do that. Then you're struggling for the rest of the day, right? Okay, go to the gym before the fast opens, and then you just can open the fast an hour later or whatever. Because people like going to the gym in Ramadan for some reason. What happens in Ramadan? Then they complain that it's hard to fast, right? I don't know. So don't do things that you know you will not be able to cope with whilst fasting, and that will cause you to break the fast or cause you to maybe suffer during the fasting. Don't do that to yourself. Hijama and acupuncture are just 2 examples. What's hijama? Cupping, right? And what's acupuncture? Needle stuff. I don't know what that is. Okay, those excused from fasting. So those who don't have to fast are a traveler. By definition of Islamic law, who can define a traveler by Islamic law? Been for the gift, but it's too late now. So what's a traveler? Just because you're going to, let's say, I'm going to Bolton today, am I a traveler? Why to Bolton? Okay, so can somebody explain what a traveler is then, Shams?
Someone is traveling more than 49 miles.
Okay. Don't know if that's exactly it. Not a time zone thing either. It could be, but not necessarily.
And one of them being staying somewhere for a certain number of days.
Nope, that's not part of it either. We're talking about becoming a traveler. So how do you become a traveler? Yes, Faisal? From your location, yeah. Not 15 days, no. See, this is confusing everyone, yes? That's when you would have to become a traveler, but that doesn't define what a traveler is. So yeah, the point there is you have to be a traveler at the time of Sahur to take this dispensation, meaning at Fajr time. But when are you a traveler though? What makes you a traveler still? You're not in your residential place? Okay, I'm here, I'm not in my residential place. I'm in guidance, so I'm a traveler? Okay, that's part of it, so that's good. You're the only one who said that so far. Nobody mentioned miles yet, or a distance. So you have to intend to go somewhere away from your home, so London, let's say, or Birmingham, or Newcastle. That's outside of your city, very far distance away, which is differed over exactly the mileage, because it's based on hadith and timings and estimates or calculations. But roughly around 50 to 60 miles, the opinions are between those 2 numbers. Okay, so if you intend, let's say 58 miles, and you leave the outskirts, you can't just intend here and become a traveler. You've got to intend to go to London, and then when you leave your city, yeah, meaning you go on the motorway and you're on M6 or something, you become a traveler. You're on the way to London, you travel. You don't have to be 58 miles away from Manchester. You could be 10 miles away from Manchester. But you've left your city and you're on your way to London, you're a traveler now, okay? By Islamic law, you are defined as a musafir, a traveler. You will not pray 4 rakat Zohar, you will pray 2. You cannot only wipe over leather socks for 24 hours, you have 72 hours, right? You don't have to fast. If you started the fast, you have to, meaning if you're in the city and you fasted. But let's say you get to London, the next fast of the next day, do you have to fast that day now? It's optional, right? You have a choice now. You're excused, but you can choose to fast. If you decide to stay in London for 15 days or more, what happens? You become a temporary resident, you're no longer Musafir is a better way of putting it, and you must fast in London. Okay, so even being away from your hometown, you can become a temporary resident, i.e. staying 15 days or a month, you will become like normal if you like, but you won't be at home, you just be a temporary resident. So it's called temporary residence. Right? That's in Islamic law is defined by 15 days or more. Yep. Yeah, it's got to be intentional. You don't have to stay 15 days. It's got to be an intention of if so when you arrive in London and you think, right, I'm going to stay here a month. Okay, then you don't. From day one, you fast full, you pray full, etc. Not when you've gone 15 days. Yeah, good point. Yes.
I read once that students who are in student halls Monday to Friday and then go back to their home city for Saturday and Sunday, they're like temporary.
They're travelers, yeah. So they will fast. They have a choice to fast or not, yeah. Believe it or not, they pray half the prayers. They're temporary residents. They're the travelers, yeah, because they're not staying for 15 days or more, and they're away from home. They're not planning. They're not living there for the rest of their lives. They're just living there for studies. They're going home on the weekend. So home is still home. Student residence is temporary. Is for the period of your study, which could be several years, but if you're only going back and forth, if you end up staying at your student residence for a month and you attend that, then yeah, you'll have the. So it's students and people traveling need to be careful. And Jim, you had a question?
What about when you move away from your home, so your parents' home, yeah?
Yeah.
You grew up, and then you
Yeah, go on.
move to another city.
Yeah.
When you come back from that city to your parents' home, you're still not.
Yeah, that's right. So no, you are. So it's a very good question actually. So as you grow up in a family home. That's your home. Okay. As you grow older, you may move. If you move out to the same city, no problem in the same city. But if you move city, let's say you go from Manchester to London, you get married, you move down to London, whatever. People do that. The spouse moves up. Usually it's the lady that moves to the husband's house, but it could be the way around. It could be they move to a new location for a job or something, right? But you move your home, meaning you buy a house, you live there, you work there, your children go to school there. You've moved city. It happens, okay? You've moved your home residence, okay? That's not a problem, but the question now is, what happens when you go back home? Because your mum and dad live in the city you are from. So you're in Manchester, now you've moved, your mum and dad are still here, but you've moved to London or Birmingham. When you come back to Manchester, you're not at home. It's weird, isn't it? You're at home because it's your mum and dad's house, you grew up there, but you're not in your home, your residence. Okay, so when you're in your mum and dad's house, you're visiting them, and you'll stay there, and if you're staying for a day or two, you will be a musafir. So yes, you'll be musafir in your old hometown. You'll be a musafir. You can't have, like, I'll move to this city, it's become a hometown. I'll make another hometown. You can't make 20 hometowns just because you moved there. Right, and you've loved them and you've been there 2-3 years at a time. Because people do that, they move, they work, it becomes your hometown, you've migrated. Okay, but if you migrated, you've cancelled the previous town. So the day you go back, the next day you could go back, you're a traveller. Yep, that makes sense, Sanjam? Okay, so you can only have one permanent home residence. That's the city you live in with your family, meaning your spouse and children, or if you're a child with your parents. But where you live, and where you go to school or you go, you might not work there, you might travel out from there, but where you live, you might not own a house there, you might rent there, but it's your residence where you live basically. That's a traveller. Illness or delayed recovery, you don't have to fast. There's two types of illness, one which will delay your recovery in that you're not having your medicine on time, or the lack of nutrition is causing the delay in recovery. In that one, it's the same as the previous one, you get to choose. Do you want to delay your recovery and fast, or do you want to get better quickly and then fast after Ramadan? So pregnant and nursing women, they are excused from fasting if they are looking after a child or expecting a child. They want to be careful with their nutrition and their health. Definitely be careful and not fast. Obviously, you don't have to fast if you are feeding a child, and ladies obviously on that don't have to fast. Making up fasts are an obligation, because Allah says in the Quran, if you're not able to fast, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ, then make it up on other days. Surah Baqarah. Allah says that in the whole passage of the fasting. If you don't fast due to whatever reason, then make it up on other days. It's obligatory if you're able to do so. Don't have to make it up in one go, so you have to do all 5 of the missed fasts consecutively, all 10 of them. They should be made up as soon as possible, meaning don't delay. And when's a good time to make them up? Shawwal, which is the month of Eid, so after Eid. Sha'ban, which is the month now, just before Ramadan. And Dhul Hijjah is very virtuous to fast the first 9 days of Dhul Hijjah. They mention the hadith. But generally that month is the month of Hajj as well. You should try and fast in Dhul Hijjah. Any Monday, Thursday, any days you can fast, but these are recommended to use especially. Right, we're moving on now to the charity called Fitrana. Any questions up till now? Yes?
You know, with like diabetic people, so sometimes they feel like the blood sugar goes down, and other days they, like I know some who like feel some days they're able to fast, and some days their blood sugar goes down. Can they fast the days they feel better? And then
So there's a whole spectrum of, diabetical issues and individuals' own kind of way of coping with it, and there's defined levels, I know, but everyone's an individual. So it's always best to seek medical advice for yourself as an individual and not take generic advice on that situation. So I would 100% say consult your GP. He knows you or she knows you the best, and your medical history and your, what's ever happened, and they will be the best. They might even ask you to come in for tests. They might advise you not to fast. Take their advice seriously and go with that. Medicinal advice should be kept to your GP and not general things, right? Especially if it could be damaging to health or risking certain things. Always take, even you go on diets, sometimes it's good to get the advice from your GP because you don't know how it could affect you, especially if you have conditions. People who are normal health, okay, it's not too bad. We don't consult many people, but if you have medical conditions, then it's always better to consult your local GP. He knows you. If you moved, then go back to the old one because he's got your history. But they do send it over eventually. They never do. The NHS is really bad. Meaning they haven't got records. I didn't realize this. They don't have electronic records of you that they transfer over. It's all, every surgery is independent and they have to send it over. That's why they still say, give this letter to your GP because we're not going to electronically send it to them. Right? Wow. We need to invest in that, I suppose, and not criticize it. Yeah. They need more funding. That's true. So, any other questions? So that was diabetes, yes? Yeah, you can combine it then. So make up fast, like you got 5 of them. I want to fast the 10 days of the Hijjah or 9. Yeah, you know what, I'll fast a few of them and I'll intend to fast those days with the intention of making up the fast. Yeah, it's okay for that reason. Yeah. Fitrana then, let's go Fitrana. What's Fitrana? It's £5. That's how much it is. I've asked what it is. So here's the thing that, they say charity, yeah, and I've put that as well here. This is zakat is charity. But isn't the concept of charity voluntary? I thought charity was when you give on your own accord. Zakat is not an option, it's an obligation. Fitrana is not an option, it's an obligation, it's a wajib, it's a requirement. So is it really correct to call it charity in English? And that's why, unless I misunderstood the word charity, right? Is charity an obligation on us? Is there such that's oxymoron? Yeah, is there such a thing as obligatory charity? Right? Charity, from my understanding of the word, it means a voluntary act of kindness, right? Whether it's money or other forms of donation. It's not a required act or a enforced act of kindness or donation. That's the word charity, right? That's what charity is, right? So I think we get the English wrong on this one, right? For zakat. So some people do say the alms tax or the alms giving. They don't say charity. They give it a different name. So sadaqat al-fitr, fitrana, as most of you know it, is a requirement, or we're going to call it a charity or a gift to the poor, as mentioned, right? It's a requirement. It's more a obligation for us to do.
Is it related to is your ability to, your nisab, zakat?
It is, but I'm not going to go into that level today. We're just going to say you've got to give it, right? Everybody's going to give the sadaqat al-fitr for everybody in their household. So you've got to give it for yourself, for your children, for anybody in your care. So if you're looking after a nephew or niece or adopted children, foster children, anybody in your care, in your, under your guardianship, if it's an elder who's ill, you're looking after them. If they've got their own wealth, then you give it from theirs. But if they haven't, and the children are, you give it from yours. Okay, so obviously parents or grandparents will do their own, parents will do their own, but children, theirs will be paid by their parents, by the dad. Dad has the responsibility, mum can do it as well, grandparents can do it as well actually, it just has to be done. So for every person in the household, fitrana has to be given. How much is fitrana is what we mentioned. It says it's calculated according to flour or dates in value, certain amount of dates or certain amount of flour or raisins, different things. It's approximately about 3, 4, 5 pounds. The most I've seen is 5 pounds. The least I've seen is about, I think, 3 pounds. Okay, I think 354 pounds or what the general calculation is. It's a calculation. The original sadaqat al-fitr, the fitrana, that was legislated by the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith. He said, Allah has given you a charity to complete your month, or a fitrana, sadaqat al-fitr, as the Prophet said, to complete the month. So it's called sadaqah, which in Arabic means charity. We translate as charity. This sadaqah is to complete your fasting. So if you don't give this act of charity, as we're going to call it, then you haven't completed Ramadan, and your fasts are not complete, and the whole Ramadan is, suspended. So we need to make sure we pay our fitrana for ourselves and our family members. And if you haven't paid it, yes, it needs to be made up. So if you haven't paid fitrana for previous years, you will need to go back and figure out, well, there was me and so in our family, I need to pay for them for every year. It might be 3, 4 people, but yeah, and it's only 5, 10 pound per year, but make that up, inshallah ta'ala. Calculate back, track back if you haven't. I think pretty much the elders do it for us. So yes, something agree on your behalf. If the elders have been paying it on your behalf and you realize now when you're 27, 28, whatever, I should be doing it myself, fine. You can accept that previous one's been covered for you and now do it for yourself, right? For children, it must be done by the parents, the guardians, okay? On behalf of your children, anyone in your care, must be given to a poor Muslim. Some say you can give it to poor non-Muslims as well. It's a charity to the poor. Any questions on that? Fitrana, yes?
Does it have to be at a specific time?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that. It should be done before Eid Salah. Thank you very much. It can be done any time in Ramadan. So now when Ramadan starts, it's better to delay it, to give it to the second half of Ramadan. But ideally, the whole idea of it was to give the less fortunate something for Eid. Okay, so for Eid, they'll have something. So if you've gone and prayed Eid and come back home and you're having all your food and said, when are you going to give fitrana? So it must be, it's a wajib to give it before the Eid Salah. Hence why when you go, they have somebody outside saying, we give you fitrana because they give you last opportunity to collect it. Ideally, it should be given to the poor person before Eid Salah, not to the masjid box. They will pass it on. So ideally, send it before that time, like end of Ramadan, like towards the last 5, 10 days, start giving your fitrana. Say, this is my fitrana for Ramadan, and passing on to poor people, to charities, whoever facilitates, the food and so forth. Pass on your fitrana early, don't delay it till really just before the Eid prayer. But yes, if that's the last moment you do it. But if you don't do it, then you missed the time. So yeah, you missed that requirement. You still got to do it though. Remember we said it's a requirement if you missed it. So there's a concept of missing it. What's the concept of missing it? Doing it after Eid Salah on the day of Eid. Before then is where it's got to be done. Okay. Remember we talked about this concept of fidya, or did we mention fidya? Have we mentioned fidya today before? No. What's fidya then? For someone who's unable to feed their life, but that's not fidya. That's for that person. So what is fidya? It's the next one. Pay sadaqat al-fitr for each day not fasted. Okay, so mentioned earlier those 2 types of people that can't fast. We said some people can't fast and they get better and they can make them up. Then there's people that can't fast and will never be able to fast. Whenever they try or they just can't because they're so ill, they'd kill themselves if they did, or they damage their body and health. Those people will never be able, they're elderly and weak and they can't fast. Those people don't fast. You just can't fast. So what happens in Ramadan then? For every day of Ramadan, you pay what they call fidya. And fidya is 3, 4 pounds per day. So if there was 30 days that you missed in Ramadan, at the end of the month, or even before, to be honest, you can do it any time you want. At the end is, because if you died at 15, you don't have to pay for 15. Will Allah protect everyone? You don't want to die in Ramadan. Well, maybe if it was a blessing and your time was up. But yeah, for all the days missed, so at the end of Ramadan you missed 30 days, yeah, 30 times 4 is 120 pounds. Go and give that, same thing, go and give it to a poor Muslim. It is to be given the same, so it's the exact same concept as fitrana, not for ending Ramadan, but for the ill person who can never fast, to pay or to expiate or to fidya, ransom in a sense, pay off for not fasting in Ramadan. Yeah. Okay, that's all it is, simple as that. Any questions on the fidya and the ill person who can't fast? Yes? Sorry? Yep. No, good question. So the baby in the womb, no. The baby that's born, yes. So if the baby will be 1 hour old before Eid Salah, if it's born after Eid Salah, then no. So if the baby is born on the day of Eid, but let's say in the evening, then no fitrana. The baby is born at Fajr on Eid day, then yes, fitrana. Right, so it's before Eid Salah. Yeah. With the value of dates and flour, yeah. So if you take these dates, they're £20 a kg, ajwa, roughly 18, 20, 22, it depends on what quality you get. So if you were to do it with dates, it's actually about 3.5 kgs of dates fitrana. So 3.5 times £20 is that 70 quid? That's fitrana for one person. But if you go with flour, you get your flour from the shop, it's about 2 kgs of flour. So, you know, a kg of flour is about £1, 2 kgs is about £2, so it's cheap. So what do you do it on, right? It's your choice what you do your fitrana on. Yeah, a lot of them say do it on the value of the dates you eat. So if your dates are £2 a kg, then fine. You know, you got to give £6-7. You know, if you like huram and you're ajwa addict, then £20 a kg at huram. There's a special prayer called what in Ramadan? Yes, Taraweeh. Okay, so how many rakats is that? 20 rakats. Oh, there we go. Where is it? Okay, Salat al-Taraweeh is Sunnah Mu'akkada for men and women. It's prayed after Isha and before Witr. It contains 20 units from the time of the Sahaba till our day. They are all the opinions which we don't need to talk about. And Surah Al-Fatiha or any surah or any 3 ayat can be read and repeated each rakat. So if you read at home, Fatiha and then whatever you want after it. Obviously, if you read in the masjid, they will have an Imam lead and whatnot. And most masajid will do a khatam of the Quran. Ramadan is the month of the Quran, so we should increase our recitation of the Quran. This hadith is in your handout. It talks about Quran and fasting together in the same hadith, and that they will both intercede for the fasting person and the reciter of the Quran. So that means somebody who adhered to fasting in his lifetime, in and out of Ramadan. Somebody who adhered to the recitation of the Quran in and outside of Ramadan. So if you attach yourselves to these 2 acts of worship, you will have 2 intercessors, 2 people, or they will take the appearance of a person or a form, and they will plead with Allah, allow this person paradise. He used to, abandon food and drink for your sake, and they will therefore plead for him. He used to stand the nights awake for your sake, praying at night, reading the Quran at night. So that indicates to tahajjud prayer as well and praying at night. So may Allah make us amongst those who read the Quran and fast. There is a special night better than how many months in this blessed month? Yes, Zain? 1,000. There we go. Any questions? Do the quiz now. Any questions on what we've discussed today? I've summarized the last part. I've been doing it a bit quick. It's not Yahoo. It's Kahoot. So you can join in at home and you can do really well, but you got a time delay, so I don't think you will do really well. Everyone here will be, it'll be a possibility of winning a prize, inshallah ta'ala. Here's the gift card as well. So you need a device. That means either a mobile phone, a tablet. You need an internet connection. And it's got 13 questions, this quiz. So 13 questions, not too many. And you go to Kahoot.it as it says. If you're given the option, choose the browser. Don't choose the app. Otherwise you'd have to download it and spend 2 minutes, delaying everyone. So just use the browser, Kahoot.it, don't download the app. And when it says enter pin, game pin, it'll ask you for, the game pin is 5131248. If you want to zoom in and scan that code, QR code, it will take you straight into the quiz as well. You don't need to put a code in. They've done that now. They put QR codes on Kahoot. So please join at home. Anybody wants to join at home, you're welcome to. You have a time delay, so as I speak, as you see the quiz, it's about 6 seconds, I think. A bit longer actually, so when you're hearing what I'm saying now, it's 6 seconds after I said it, or longer as Brother Hamad is telling me. So you will probably get less time to answer, so you've got to answer quickly at home. Everyone here obviously will have live and exclusive access to the quiz on time, no delays inshallah, unless you're asleep. So once we're ready, we'll start the quiz. There's 13 questions. There's a £100 gift card here in this envelope for the winner. Thank you for coming, by the way. Allah bless you all. At home, you can't get that. And then there is a choice of prizes. So the next 6 runners up can take a choice of one of these books or a box of dates. So the second person gets first choice, gets second choice, fourth gets third, right? The winner just gets £100. I think you're happy with that, mashallah. Second to 6th to 7th will get a choice of a box of dates or any of these books. Imam Ghazali's 40 Principles on Religion, Handbook of Spiritual Medicine, that's a good one for Ramadan, and Qadi Iyad's Shifa, which is a beautiful book about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so these are the 3 books and a box of dates if you want ajwa. Okay, anybody want me to wait for them or I'm going to start? Does anybody want me to wait? Okay, here we go. Bismillah. Right. Best of luck to everybody. Don't give up because there's 7 prizes on offer. You might get a box, dates at the end. There's about 30 of you, so yeah, it's competitive. Nice, easy starters. About half these questions are dead easy, and you'll be like, oh, that's so easy. But you still got to answer them to get the points. Yep, so answer them quickly. Okay? And some are a bit challenging. And some I didn't mention in today's quiz as well, so today's seminar. So there's, I think, one question I didn't cover. I was going to ask it for the prize for the book, and then I thought it's coming in the quiz. So well done to 25. If you didn't answer in time, that's your fault, not mine. Almas is in the top, Masa Anjam second. This is all about speed, isn't it? Fasting in Ramadan became obligatory in Sha'ban of the 3rd year after Hijrah. Is that a true or false statement? The quicker you answer, the more points you get. If you answer wrong, you get 0. So be careful what you put down. Okay, you got 7 seconds, but if you're at home, you probably have missed out already because of the time delay. Khurram, what did you put? False. That's the blue one. Why is it false? Because it was the 2nd year after Hijrah. So that separated some people out. And Almas has this. No, second. Somebody dropped, I thought it was yourself. Khurram's onto the leaderboard. Well done, Khurram. Fasting is when? Hey, what's going on here? You don't eat for 3 days, you run really fast, you don't eat from dawn till sunset, when you eat really fast. What's fasting? Which one of those is? What we defined as fasting in this seminar today. Is it when you run really fast, everyone? Is that called fasting? Put that down. We're fasting. Why has it got 70 seconds for? Wow! I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, I'm gonna skip. You still get the points when I skip, but if you haven't answered, it's too late. So put your answer in. 3, 2, 1. Oh, everybody's answered. So you've all answered, it skips itself. So well done, everybody got right. But the slower you answer, the less points you get. What moon phase indicates the beginning of Ramadan? This is what we didn't talk about. So which one of those moon phases is the beginning of Ramadan? You like that question? So visuals for you, Khurram, not just all writing. People like pictures. Yeah, which one starts? Which one do we see and we start the Ramadan? Which one of those 4? Which one did you put, Asim? What color? Blue is correct. Well done, mashallah. That's called the crescent moon, the new crescent moon, yeah, Hilal. So well done. Oh, mashallah, we've got to change again, read onto the leaderboard, mashallah. What is suhoor in Ramadan? Is it a pre-fast meal, a nightly prayer, a meal taken after sunset, a charity for the poor? What is suhoor? Suhoor. That's what you do, that's what you guys do at suhoor. You got your tea in your phone, right? Relevant pictures, I picked these myself. They're not actually, I just randomly picked them. So yeah, the suhoor is the pre-fast meal. Yes, before you start fasting, you have a meal. Lamis. Almas wants to win today, mashallah. So during Ramadan, the meal just after sunset to pen the fast, to what? To end the fast is called. Pen should say end. Pen means, in my language, pen means end. You know my language now, alhamdulillah. During Ramadan, the meal just after sunset to end the fast is end. But pen means end. You don't come across that. You should learn my language, mashallah. Right? Well done to everyone who got it right. It is the iftar meal. We didn't talk about that either. But like I said, there's a few things we didn't talk about. Anjem is getting in there quick, mashallah. Well done, Anjem. I'm impressed. Muslims in different parts of the world fast different amount of hours. Is that a true or false statement? That the whole fast day, like is it 7 hours for us and 10 hours for them? Or is it the same for everyone? It's different, yeah, it's different. Depends where you are in the world. There's a different length and hours of fasting. We got a long fast here in the UK compared to a lot of other parts in the world. And Jem, it was a true statement. Don't worry, you can get back in there. There is a special prayer for Ramadan called 5 times, Taraweeh, Tahajjud, Witr. Which one is it? Don't say yeah. Faisal, what is it? Taraweeh. You can put Taraweeh, it's too late, you're not going to win this quiz. Well done to everyone, or one person. Lamis, who's Lamis? Oh, is it both of you, subhanAllah? Have you got like a cheat code on this or something, mashallah? Sitting next to each other. Huram, well done. Shams. Anisa, where's Anisa? Mashallah, well done. Alhamdulillah, top 5 are competitive. Double points. Time to get back into it. What happens if you forgetfully eat whilst fasting? Continue eating, stop fasting, continue. Be careful, continue fasting, go to sleep. I tried to catch people out because I know some of you are going to hit red, aren't you? Who hit red already? You did, you fell for it. I got you. By mistake. If you hit red, that was my plan. You don't continue eating, no. What do? How many did I get? I got 2 people. You continue fasting, for goodness sake. I got 2 people. I thought I'd get 1 or 2. Right? So yeah, if you forgetfully eat while fasting, you don't stop fasting, you don't go to sleep, you don't carry on eating, you what? Continue fasting. Now, was it a bit of a tricky one? Do you have to think about that, Arib? Yeah, you had to think it through. So what's happened? Lamis has dropped. Khuram, mashallah, Nisa and Shams. So is this leaderboard changing around? Zoya is the highest climber, well done. That yourself? Mashallah. Muslims usually break their fast with, usually, not always, but usually, juice, tea, apple or dates. What do you usually? Sunnah, Islamically, what the Prophet did, usually. Water you could have said as well, but no, it's not an option. The options are in front of you, and the answer was dates. Oh, let's move on. Right, next question. We've got 3 to go. Laylatul Qadr is the night the Quran was first revealed. True or false? Laylatul Qadr is the night the Quran was first revealed. Is that a true or false statement? The difficult question is the next one, guys. So this one's going to decide who wins the quiz. Okay? The next question is a big one. Okay? It is true the Quran was revealed for the first time on Laylatul Qadr. Let's have a look at the leaderboard before we go into the final question. Okay? On 115 is Almas, Khurram's on 114, almost on 115, very close. Lamis is on 114.2, Anisa 112 and 112 Arib. Okay, I thought it was the defining question. I tried to make my quiz a bit better. I'm getting better at the quizzes. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm not saying anything. So, Hamad, what was the answer? Badr, Battle of Badr took place on the 17th of Ramadan. Let's have a look at the leaderboard now. Khurram has taken the lead by 8 points. Subhanallah. There's one more question though. Okay. Almas is now in second with Lamis in third. Hasanain's onto the lead. Where's Hasanain? MashaAllah. Hasanain's on the leaderboard. Anjam, you're back up. See, I told you to stick in there. MashaAllah, well done. Okay. Here we go. What festivals? You still could change if you don't hit it fast enough, Khurram. What festivals do Muslims celebrate after Ramadan? Laylatul Qadr, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Fast. The Eid of the fast, no? So the correct answer was Eid al-Fitr. Some people did put Eid al-Fast. MashaAllah. I don't know why you thought that. It's the Eid of the fast, I know, but it's not called Eid al-Fast. It's called Eid al-Fitr. So in third place, with full answers, was Lamis. Well done. You get third place, not the £100. In second place was Khurram. MashaAllah, you lost it on the last one by, how many points? By a lot, actually. Almas was quick on the last one. Well done to Almas, she's won the £100. Well done to you. Hasnain in fourth, and let's see who else was there. You full report. So Hasnain was fourth. Well done, Hasnain. Shaista was in fifth in the end. Well done. Where's Shaista? MashaAllah, at the back. Anisa, we know, is there, and Shabnam is in seventh place. So this has to go to Almas, if you can take that. MashaAllah, Mubarak, well done. And for second place, you get a choice. So I'm going to ask you what you want, Khurram. Do you want the Shifa, do you want spiritual medicine, or Ihya Ulumuddin, or a box of dates? The Imam Ghazali book, that's yours, there you go. In third place, we've got Lamis. Which one, what would you like? Would you like the spiritual medicine book, the book about the Prophet ﷺ by Qadi Iyad, or a box of dates? Spiritual medicine, it is. Hasanain, at the back there, young Hasanain, mashallah. There you go, Mubarak. What would you like, Hasanain? A book? Okay, you can take this one, it's the one left. It's actually a very good book. And I hope when you grow a little bit older, you read a lot of it, because it's a very important book, mashallah. Well done. Thank you very much. Okay, 3 boxes of dates left. 4, Shaista, Anisa, and Shabnam. So I think it's on the you're on the ladies' side, aren't you? If I can pass them over there, then we can give them out, inshallah. Yeah, if you want to take them. Oops, there you go. Okay, so that concludes what we plan to do today. So we'll finish with a short dua, and you are free to go home. Please do, as an encouragement, buy our dates, because they're for charity. The funds go to community activities and the work of the deen and the homeless feeds that we do and support the community. So buy a box of dates, or a couple or a few before you leave. We have got a bookshop if you want to take a book or two for Ramadan. We've got a book specifically on Ramadan and how to make the most of Ramadan, which talks a lot about the rulings, things we discussed today. It's recently published by a group of scholars. I forgot what it's called, but it's at the back there. It's not on site yet. We haven't got it. We have it on store online. So check our store online. We'll have it in the store, inshallah ta'ala, very soon. I thought I saw a box of books arrive. Okay, so this are some new books. Have a look, inshallah ta'ala. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul alim wa tub alayna innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim. Oh Allah, accept what we have done today of learning. Allow us to benefit from this in our lives in this Ramadan, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, forgive us for any mistakes that we mentioned, and accept all the good that has been done today. Oh Allah, bless all those who have attended today. Bless the children. Bless everyone's time. Bless everyone's wealth. Bless everyone's fasting and our remembrance of your name, our recitation of the Quran. Make all of these acts full of goodness for us and benefit for us in our daily lives, in our worship at night, in our activities, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allow us to be good to others, to be well-mannered, to interact with others on the best of basis, with our parents, to be respectful to them, with our neighbors, with our teachers, with all those around us. Make us merciful to the youngsters, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and allow us to be upright Muslims, upright human beings. O Allah, forgive us, guide us and protect us. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Thank you on behalf of Guidance Hub for coming today. And please do follow us at home on the Guidance Hub YouTube channel and our social media. But also check out our website for updates. We are releasing more courses and more events. And sign up to our mailing list probably is where the best place is to get the updates, inshallah ta'ala. But take care. Assalamu